All right, this is important. The flight of an enemy should not be prevented, but facilitated. Generals unskilled in war think a victory incomplete unless the enemy are so straitened in their ground or so entirely surrounded by numbers as to they have no possibility of escape. But in such situation, where no hope remains, fear itself will arm an enemy, and despair inspires courage. That's powerful. Yeah. Think about that. Fear itself will arm the enemy if you surround them completely. When men find they must inevitably perish, they willingly resolve to die with their comrades and with their arms in their hands. The maxim that a golden bridge should be made for a flying enemy has much been commended. For when they have free room to escape, they think of nothing but how to save themselves by flight. And the confusion. Now you might think by that statement he's saying, hey, like, you build a golden bridge for them to get away. Yeah. You might think that that's sort of a merciful thing to do. But check out this line. And the confusion becoming general, great numbers are cut to pieces. The pursuers can be in no danger when the vanquished have thrown away their arms for greater haste. So the guys are dropping their swords. They see an escape. They drop their swords and they run for it. But you got them. You're waiting there for them. In this case, the greater number of the flying enemy, the greater the slaughter. Numbers are of no signification. Where troops once thrown into consternation are equally terrified at the sight of the enemy as their weapons. So that's good advice. And this is something as well, it's not the same thing, but man, when you're dealing with another human being, and let's say you and I are talking about something, and I know I'm right and I know you're wrong, but you kind of painted yourself into a corner. Yeah. I'll give you a little out, I'll give you a little out. I don't want to do that to you. Yeah. I don't want to do that to people I work with. No, I'm gonna give you a little out. Like, oh yeah, it's probably the way it used to be, but you know what? Hey, just a little something where you go like, yeah, definitely, I've done it before. Like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad it worked. Yeah. What do you think of this? So give people a little out.
That actually is very, very. It's a nice thing to do, but it feels very smart.
It's way you very said smart. It right there. It's very smart to do. You give people a little out. Yeah, I have to do that with my kids. Give them a little out because they'll paint themselves in a corner because they're kids.
That's what they do.
That's what they do.
Yeah. It's when you embarrass someone, because that's kind of embarrassing, especially when you get into some argument where it turns into a me against you kind of thing. Then you realize you're wrong, and you're like, oh man, I have to basically
give them a little out.
Give them out. So we're both winners, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good because my ego's not involved over here. I'm just happy that we can get along. I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
Good with it.
Yep.